Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Power of a Processor podcast. I'm Gina Wariebi, owner and operator of Innovative Edge Processing and the Mortgage Processing Revolution. Today, I'm speaking with Heather Cathy, who is a contract processor with Cathy Quality Processing. Did I get that right, Cathy?
You did. That
Oh,
sounds great. Yep.
perfect. Well, welcome.
Thank
Before we
you.
get into anything, can you just talk to me a little bit about how you got into processing? Why are you a processor? How did you land into this?
Right. So I stayed at home with my children when they were young.
Hmm.
And, we hit a recession in 2008
Yes, we
and
did.
needed to, pick up some income for our family. And we had a really good friend who was in mortgages. And he actually had reached out and said, "Hey, I need some help part-time. We're through the recession and I am picking up. I'm getting very busy. I can't do this on my own, and I'd really love some help." We knew them very well, so he felt like he could trust me. I did have an insurance license, so I had done some property and casualty insurance as well. So I had some
Okay.
experience, just in the corporate world. Anyway, just went to work for him part time. That turned into full time. He trained me well, and then my kids got, busier with
Yeah.
sports and things like that.
You become the
And
mom taxi.
I did. And so really
Yeah.
I needed to be more flexible, and
Okay.
just with the encouragement of some account executives that I had already worked with, through him. They were like, you can do this on your own. You can be your own business where you have the flexibility to do the things that you need to do for your family as well. So
Set
just
your own
really
hours, like,
that's right. Set my own
yeah.
hours, just be flexible, be able to, if I needed to run and get a kiddo or, whatever that may be, it enabled me to do that, and also be home when my high schoolers at that time, started coming home, and
Yeah.
I knew where they were and what they were doing and all those things. So went out on my own in 2016, opened Cathy Quality Processing, and really that's it. That's the rest is history. That's how I landed here and been doing it ever since. And just going
That's kind of
through
how
all of
all
the
of
all
us,
of the ups. Yeah, right.
yeah. We've
Yeah,
all we all have that little story of how we landed here.
correct. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Like you said, it's not. I didn't wake up, in the third grade and say, "Oh, my dream is to become a contract processor." Wouldn't have even known what that was. But it really has
Correct.
been such a great fit for our family. Now my kids are grown, and now I get to do this. It's a privilege, to help others at this point. So
Absolutely. I
yeah,
like that. It's a privilege. I like that. I might
yeah,
steal that from you. Privilege.
absolutely.
So let's get right into our topic of the day, which is
Okay.
preparing and compiling packages.
Yes.
Now, when we spoke a little bit, that is really where your passion is when you process.
Right.
Explain to me why. Why is preparing a package,
Yeah.
part of the most important part, what you think?
Well, I think that the biggest component is that it makes our job easier.
Okay.
Really on the front end. If
What do you mean
we,
by easier? What do you,
well, if we throw something together, we don't organize it, we haven't scrubbed the file, we haven't prepared the file
okay,
in a clean, organized, fashion, then guess what? We're going to send something into underwriting and a mess is going to come out.
come
So you
back
send a
out.
mess in, you're going to get
Yep,
a mess back. And so I just think that, this is already a high stress job, in my
it
opinion.
is.
We've got deadlines, right? Right. And we are in the middle. We are in the middle
Yes,
of everyone. And I think that, um, you know, whatever we can do to make our lives and our jobs easier, more
correct.
rewarding, and for things to be more fluid. And really, that carries on throughout the whole file with our
Absolutely.
borrowers, with our loan officers, with underwriters. And so I think if we can allow a component of our jobs to be a little easier, all the better, in my opinion.
And not to mention that the underwriters actually see the same thing we do. If we submit a file that's full and complete, they have it in front of them. They see the paychecks. They see everything that they need to see. It's an easier
Right.
underwrite for them. It's easier for them to get the entire picture per se of that
Absolutely.
client and that loan, so they don't have to keep going back and forth every time you send in a condition. So that
Right.
leads me into cover letters. Are you a
Yes.
fan, pro or con?
I am a big fan of cover letters.
Okay. What do you usually put on a cover letter to the underwriter?
So I go through the components of the file. I would start with, obviously income. Then we talk about assets.
Wait a
I
minute,
wanted
I'm
to,
sorry. Do you break
yeah, go
down the
ahead.
income of how
So
you?
yeah, just income and employment. I just let them know, this, even if it's a cut, easy file.
Yep.
Hey, this gentleman has been on the job for 15 years, great income. Oh, but he got a raise, in July. So please keep
Okay.
that in mind, things like that.
Now, do
And
you
then
get the raise letter and put it in the package? Do you
if I
get that
have the
up
raise
front?
letter, absolutely. If I've gotten it up front, if I've gotten a VOE up front, if I've had the ability to do that, absolutely.
Okay.
Anything that you can get up front, the better, and like you said, it gives the picture to the underwriter. They appreciate it. It's
Yeah.
easier for them. It checks their boxes. They don't have to come back and forth. You don't have to go back and forth to a borrower.
It leads to one condition versus four conditions.
Correct. And it frustrates everyone in the process much less.
Absolutely.
They feel like it's going smooth, easy. So yes, so breaking down, really just kind of going through a 1003 in a summary format is
Correct.
A cover letter to me. We're looking at their, the residence history, their job history, their assets. Where is the cash to close going to come from? Or is it net proceeds? Is it coming from stocks? Are they going to have to liquidate? Are they going to use a HELOC? Whatever that might be. And then if they have REO, do they, hey, they have 3 other properties. They take, they collect rent at that point. Then I'm going to add a rental worksheet as well, so that they have that as well.
Tax returns, lease agreements.
Absolutely. Whatever we can provide, again, upfront, that will make it less invasive for our borrowers, in my opinion, again, the better. So a cover letter, just giving that overview, I think is so, so important. I also include, when I can, income calculation worksheets, whether I do them or my loan officer does them, either one. I think that's also important. I've noticed that with underwriters, a lot of times they look at that and they go, oh, this looks great. Yep, I agree with this income calculation sheet. Again, making their job easier, I feel like, is what we do best as processors.
And I think that is phenomenal, because I'm constantly going back and forth with underwriters saying, how did you get your calculations? My calculation is this, and it's not the same. And by seeing it in front of you, by seeing their worksheet, your worksheet, is easier to figure out where the disconnect is, per se.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, like some underwriters will call us, right? And we get, have a conversation, and they can say, well, I didn't get, this income. I'm looking at your income calculation sheet. This is how I did it. You can have a conversation. Usually nip something in the bud right there immediately before you even get conditioned for anything else. Now we're like, okay, that looks great. I agree with you. Have a conversation and move on. I just think that, cover letters and income worksheets, all of those things, again, expedite our process. They make the underwriting process go so much smoother.
And I know they're not supposed to do this. There's no specialty like putting your file in their queue, and they see, oh, look, there's a file from Heather. I know that one's going to be pretty easy. They're not supposed to do that, but they do. When they see, they know that processor has quality. They can whip through it faster because you have a full and complete package. So I think it does make it easier on both of us.
Yeah, I think it makes a difference with underwriting. I've had underwriters say, we love getting your files. They're clean. They're, goes smoothly. Even if it's a complicated file, you've laid it out for us. I think that also helps, when you have a difficult file, you've got a lot of moving parts. That cover letter is essential to helping an underwriter put the pieces together. Just like us as processors receive a file, we need that communication from a loan officer. Hey, these things are kind of all going on. It helps us put those pieces together through on a 1003. It's the same thing for us to do for an underwriter and make their job a little bit easier so
I
that
never
they're not
thought of
wanting
that.
to pull their hair out,
I never
what's going
thought
on
of
with
that.
this file.
Yeah, that's actually very good, because I do require my loan officer to send me over like a loan template, a loan submission sheet with a breakdown of
Correct.
everything going on. So yeah, that's actually really good, because that's how I learn the loan. I learn the details,
That's
the
right.
most important things. So by sending that to the underwriter as well, I never thought about that. That's
Yeah.
actually really
Yeah.
good.
Now we're
What?
passing that on, to the underwriter. Yeah.
Yes,
So,
absolutely. What are some things that you definitely make sure is in every file before you submit? And I'll tell you, for example, for me, I do require a credit inquiry letter and an address. I take them right off the credit report, because you're going to get hit with a credit inquiry. If they have 5 previous addresses, they're going to want to know if you owned it. If you can get a verification, if you think you need it up front. The purchase and sales contract, those kind of things that you really know you need in a file. Large deposits are another one that I really make sure I have.
yeah.
What are some off the cuff kind of things that you make sure are in there if you see something on your file?
Yeah, you hit a lot of the ones that I do make sure of. Let me just think about that. I want to say, I mean, for sure, we really try to get as often as possible upfront verifications of employment. It just seems like anymore, even with straightforward, a lot of people work overtime, a lot of people work commissions and get bonuses. So we really do try, because again, that is a condition that I am seeing more and more on my files.
Especially shift differentials. I see that a lot.
100%. We do a lot of nurses. We do a lot of, like civil servants. Always they have, overtime, and bonuses and things like that. So that is one thing that we really like to have and try to have up front. We do, our invoices, definitely credit inquiry, name variants, trying to think that those are, you've hit most of the ones, obviously. And then the cover letter. The cover letter is, well, fraud alert, I don't usually do fraud alert just because an underwriter has to call on them. Large deposits is one that we really look at, and we try to get that cleared before, an underwriter's going to say, where is this coming from? Exactly. So we try not to have to deal with that, that condition.
Gifts? If up front, do you
gift letter? Absolutely.
Not just the letter, but the transfer, the wire, the check, the FHA government loans, the donor statement. Do you try to get those up front, or do you submit knowing that you're going to ask for them later?
So what we do is, usually if we know we're getting a gift, we'll have our borrowers and the donor sign. We get all of the information from them. We go ahead and get the gift letter, but then we instruct them on what we're going to do, about 10 days. That's kind of our requirement, is we require 10 days in advance that the gift funds be wired to the title company. Obviously FHA government loans are a little bit different, and you have to get their, the statement as well. So we do prepare them. We educate our borrowers and let them know what is coming. But yeah, usually it's upfront gift letter, so that again, underwriter knows their gift funds coming, and we will have this wired to closing if at all possible. On conventional loans, we always educate, do not wire into your, recipient's account. Please wire directly to title, so that it's one less, piece of documentation that we have
here, there.
That's right.
And I also find that the more I prep the package up front, customers and borrowers are excited in the beginning. They want to give you their documents. They want to say, what else do you need? And then as the process goes forward, they're less and less in agreement to wanting to give you some more. So when you have to go back to them 2 times, 3 times, it seems to drag it out, and the experience isn't as good for them. So get as much as you can, and that first couple days that you think, or even like you said, educate them and say, okay, well, this isn't needed for loan submission, but you are going to need to get these eventually. You're going to need to
Correct.
get your HOI eventually. So start that process now. So when the time comes, you'll have it ready.
And we do educate our borrowers as well. We ask upfront if they can go ahead and begin working on homeowners insurance, even if it's just getting us a quote at first.
Absolutely.
And then we also like to educate our borrowers and let them know, hey, about 10 days before closing, our lender is going to reach out to your employer, and they are going to be needing to make a phone call to verify your income. This eliminates, frustrations, because sometimes we have to get both, right? We have to get a written VOE and we have to do the verbal at the end. This eliminates some frustration. I've had instances where employers have felt like it was unprofessional. Well, you've already reached out to me once. Why are you reaching out again? Correct. This allows them to let their HR person know, hey, there's a couple of phone calls coming. There's a couple of emails coming. And then, like you said, if they are aware of it, again, eliminates frustrations.
Absolutely. You've really hit on some really great points here. I got a lot of takeaways today. Thank you. My last question to you is, what is the ideal future that you see for a processor? Where do you see processing going in wholesale in the future? You say in the next 5 years.
Oh, goodness. Well,
what would you like to see?
What I would like to see, I think the biggest thing is, I think we've talked about this before, Gina, is, just a little bit more recognition for what we do as processors. I think that, not to toot our own horns, but we do work very hard and we do a lot on a file. We carry it through, a large portion of the entire transaction.
Absolutely.
So I think just recognizing that, processors do have knowledge, and they make or break a file sometimes, if it's not organized, if it's not put together, correctly, and then just more, I guess, trust from like loan officers and things like that. Hey, I have several that are like, I'm so thankful for you. I know I can trust you. I can go out and get more deals while you're handling the file.
They can go on vacation or go golfing in the middle of the day.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Trust is huge. Trust is definitely huge.
So I think that's what I'd just like to see in the future. I don't really know what, our future holds with AI and things like that. I think that could be a benefit to us. I think, as things move forward, I think it could just enhance our job. Again, one of the things that I'm also very passionate about is efficiency. So in processing, I would sure love to see things just continue to become more efficient, allowing us to get our job done, not rushing in no way, shape, or form, but just allowing us to get our job done more efficiently.
By that, what do you mean? Like better portals or better technology? What do you mean by that?
All of that. I think better technology, better portals. I think, it would be great to have a little bit more consistency across the board with lenders in the wholesale market. For instance, an example is, one of our lenders that you and I both know and love, you can get a CD out early. You can get it out, on approval. Why can we would like to see our other, lenders do that as well. Just kind of getting on that same page, same board with being able to do things like that make our job a little bit more consistent and a little bit more efficient. Again, I think it just helps, with the whole process.
Absolutely. And I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. I actually still find myself struggling with a couple lenders to have them accept my processing invoice. I mean, I've been doing this for 10 years, this company, third-party processing. And I know it's been going on a little longer than that, but why after 10 years are we still fighting to get the pay? We're a third party, just like an appraiser. An appraiser has no problem getting paid. Why do we? I just agree. Definitely, not just recognition, but equality.
Equality is another really good one. Just that recognition and equality. I think that's really great, and that's such a great point with the invoices. The truth is that there are systems in place that are very easy to look, on another side of things, to be able to look things up and confirm really quickly. Oh, great, she's good to go.
Yeah.
And again, just things like that make the process, there's puts hiccups in the process, or it slows us down. So, and then the other thing that I really, really would love is just having, sometimes I get halted, and I know you probably do too, from being able to do my job because the team member down the line hasn't done their job just yet. And so that's hard as well.
Are you talking about in the back end or in the front, like the loan
I
officer
would say
or
back
the
end.
underwriter?
No, yeah,
Okay.
back end,
Yes.
having to, reach out for docs or, things
1003
like that.
completion.
Correct. That's right. Yes.
That's a huge
So,
one.
yeah. So anyway, but
Okay.
we're just gonna keep on trucking, and
Absolutely.
like we said, I really do think it's a privilege to help others get in their home.
We're here for a reason. We're in this
Yeah.
job for a reason. We thrive on chaos, and we
It's
all have
true.
the same goal at the end of the day. We
That's
really
right.
do. So,
That's
and with
so
that,
true.
Heather, I want to thank you so much for joining the Power of a Processor. And
Thank you for having me.
everybody else, go ahead and check out my YouTube channel, Gina Innovative Edge Processing, where you can see all of the back episodes. And if you have any comments or you'd like to be a guest on my show, please feel free to reach out. The number should be on the screen for you. And thank you so much, and have an amazing day, everybody.
Thanks, Gina.
Hey, what's your secret? You got the kind of vibe that leaves me speechless. It could be model multitasking genius. Yeah, you got it all. Hey, what's your story?